After saying goodbye to the captain, Alan doesn't feel lost. He's decided to train in Beast Ridge, but first he needs to join an adventuring team. Going there alone would be too dangerous. At the Adventurers Guild Hall, Alan sees various people, including many arcane mages, though they are fewer in number than the warriors. Arcane mages are highly sought after in adventuring teams. Even if an arcane mage is weaker than the average adventurer, teams still prefer to have one. Alan doesn't plan to reveal his identity as an arcane mage. Although he's reached the second tier of junior arcane mage, he knows advancing to the third tier can take a long time. He intends to improve his warrior skills first, become stronger, and later focus on advancing in arcane. At just 13 years old, however, it's hard for Alan to gain the trust of other adventuring teams, despite explaining that he's a junior warrior. "Kid, go home and train for a few more years," one adventurer laughs. "At least grow some more hair first." "Beast Ridge isn't for kids. Don't cause us trouble," says another. Despite Alan's persistence, the adventurers remain skeptical, and he's forced to reveal that he is also an arcane mage. Yet, without wearing the typical arcane hat, many still don't believe him. A middle-aged, bearded man with a wild look, who seems to be the leader of a group, asks Alan, "Are you really a junior arcane mage? What tier?" "Second tier," Alan replies, but the man remains doubtful. "Prove it. Show me an arcane," he demands. Alan nods and steps outside the hall. Gathering arcane energy, he casts a windblade spell into the sky. Although most arcane spells dissipate after a certain distance, Alan's spell remains visible in the sky for a long time before shrinking into a small point. The warriors, who aren't familiar with arcane intricacies, merely confirm that Alan is indeed a second-tier junior arcane mage. There are other teams competing for the same job, but if we have an arcane mage, we should win the contract, the bearded man tells his team. They reluctantly agree. "All right, kid, come with us. Let's meet the client," the man says, introducing himself as Ferry, the leader of the team. Alan follows them without hesitation. As they walk, Ferry introduces the other members. Ferry himself is a first-tier intermediate warrior. His deputy, Cradden, is also a first-tier intermediate warrior. The other three members are third-tier junior warriors. Alan doesn't catch their names but figures he'll learn them over time. The Employers' Hall is smaller than the Adventurers Guild, with fewer clients but many adventuring teams. Teams gather around potential employers, promoting themselves. Ferry directs the group toward a client, and they push their way through the crowd. Because of his height, Alan can't see much inside the crowd, so he decides to wait on the side. Unlike the lively Adventurers Guild, this hall is quieter, with adventurers promoting their teams more discreetly. Alan sits in a corner to rest. Suddenly, a rude voice interrupts him. "Kid, get out. Don't cause trouble here," says a shabby guild staff member with a sharp chin and a sleazy appearance. "I'm an adventurer," Alan replies, planning to ignore the man. But the staff member dismisses him. "You're just a kid pretending to be an adventurer. Don't disrupt our work." The staff member, in a foul mood after being scolded by a supervisor, takes his frustration out on Alan. He doesn't believe a boy like Alan could survive Beast Ridge and rudely tries to chase him away. Alan, unwilling to tolerate the staff member's arrogance, draws his sword and channels some chi, sending the man flying. Caught off guard, the staff member is knocked down and rolls on the floor. "Now do you believe me?" Alan says coldly, annoyed by the unnecessary trouble. The staff member, though furious, doesn't dare retaliate. As a mere guild worker without chi skills, he knows he stands no chance against Alan, a junior warrior. Gritting his teeth, he glares at Alan and walks away. At that moment, Ferry and the others return, surprised to see Alan's use of ki. "You didn't mention you practiced both arcane and combat cultivation. That's rare," Ferry comments. Arcane and combat dual cultivation is uncommon in the Telesia Empire. Though not due to a lack of talent, it's seen as a flawed method because it divides attention between two paths. Warriors focusing on arcane lose out on physical strength, and arcane mages practicing combat skills find their arcane progress hindered. Alan's situation, however, is different. He needs strength quickly and can't afford to rely on just one path. His dual cultivation allows him to survive without being bullied, even if it means slower overall progress. Fairy can't tell if Alan's cultivation choice is worth praising or mocking, but Alan merely nods in acknowledgement without further explanation. For others, dual cultivation is seen as a novelty that doesn't bring long-term benefits. Many who practice it for years end up weaker than those who specialize in just one path. Anyway, the client chose our team, Fairy announces. We'll be escorting the employer to Beast Ridge. We might have to enter the E-level area. Everyone, get your supplies tonight. Meet at the city's west gate tomorrow morning. We'll meet the employer there. The team quickly disperses to prepare. Alan also needs to gather supplies, but his limited funds restrict him to cheap items. Although mage robes are beneficial for casting arcane, Alan decides against buying one due to their high cost. Instead, he opts for basic armor, preferring physical protection. Beast Ridge is home to many poisonous creatures, and even a minor injury could prove fatal without proper defense. Most warriors carry a shield when using a one-handed weapon, but Alan chooses not to. Since he needs his other hand free for arcane casting, carrying a shield would only hinder his agility. His main strength as a junior warrior is his speed. Alan also avoids buying a staff. Though useful for amplifying arcane, they are far too expensive. A basic staff with an F-level arcane crystal costs 20 gold coins, a fortune for Alan, who survived 4 years at Silverglow Academy on just 5 gold coins. Finally, Alan visits a potion shop where he buys basic hemostatic agents, antidotes, and insect repellents. Advanced potions are crafted by high-level arcane mages, and Alan isn't yet skilled enough to make such items himself.